Going live in 3, 2, 1. What is up, my brother?
What is good, y'all?
What's Gucci?
Yeah.
You already know what it is, though.
Y'all know what time it is.
Yeah. Chilling with my man KiNG. We here at Cocoa Beach in Florida, doing the undone interviews on the beach. Y'all can copy the swag if you want, but it ain't gonna be original because we did it first. You did.
Making history
You
out here, my
did.
guy.
Uh-huh.
What's goody?
Man, life is goody.
Great.
All right.
Life is
Speaking about life, bro, let's talk about life. So
Alright.
bring it back. Tell us a little bit about young Ro,
Just dropping the
growing
song.
up in Puerto Rico, chilling on the island. What was the lifestyle like? What was going on in the young
Well-
mind of Ro, the mind of a young genius?
So, wait. Ask me that question one more time.
What was going on in the mind of young Ro, growing up on the island,
And
chilling?
then coming to America.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, I was born in PR, moved to New York when I was 2, stayed in New York for about 7 or 8 years, 9 years. Then I came down to Florida, stayed in Orlando because I always had family in Orlando. And Orlando now pretty much my second home. So here I am. And been here ever since, man. Like, it's cool because you get to experience so many different cultures and vibes and meet like so many different people from so many walks of life. And it shapes a lot of who you are and where you're gonna go and who you're gonna become. So it's pretty awesome to go to different places as a very young kid and to continue to move around because sometimes you would want to be stagnant and sometimes you want to stay still and stay in one place and kind of feel that comfortability of like, oh, I'm here in New York or I'm here in Orlando or I'm here in Los Angeles or I'm wherever. And a lot of people get comfortable and they don't want to move out of their comfort zone and experience new things. But there's a lot of people that do enjoy experiencing new things too. So the beauty of it is being able to experience those new things and then also grow from that and understand that it's all in God's plan at the end of the day wherever you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
So
Wherever you're supposed to go, whoever you're supposed to meet, whatever experience you're supposed to have.
it was supposed to happen.
That's how it went.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
but yeah, man, it's pretty cool. I grew up. I want to basically say, I'm based out of Orlando. Because Orlando, I've been through a lot of things out here, and I've seen a lot of things out here in Orlando. Grow up, around a lot of people out here, and I got a lot of friends down here. I got a lot of loved ones and stuff over here. A lot of good experiences. So I went to school out here for high school. So it's cool to be able to experience that and say that because I don't even think there's too many artists from Orlando really. Like, I can't can you name an artist from Orlando, like a top 5 of like the hottest artists from Orlando?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Like on the radio or like,
No.
that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like in order for me to be able to make the most out of what I'm trying to do with myself and my artistry, it'd be a great thing for me to be able to put Orlando on because there's, like you said, you can't really name anyone.
There's no one really doing it like
off
that.
So like a Travis Scott or like a Kendrick Lamar, you know what I mean? And I want to be able to be one of those. I want to be able to say that, I gave back. And growing up in Orlando, it definitely shows you like, I see a lot of the homeless people out in the streets and I see a lot of the, individuals that I know are going through it. And it makes you want to give back to the community. It makes you want to build, something that you can say, I was able to contribute. I was able to, give back in a positive way and to be able to make a positive change for future generations. And that's all I've ever wanted to do in general, just growing up.
Word.
So it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
How would you say the Puerto Rican heritage has impacted you, both as a person, musically, just in general?
Being Puerto Rican is awesome, man. It's like, we're the only Latinos in America that are actually legally United States citizens. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my Dominicans. You know what I'm saying? No hate for my Dominicans. I love my Dominicans, but you know we got our own island. You feel me?
Flex.
But hey, but yeah, man, being Puerto Rican is cool because it's such a beautiful culture. It's such a beautiful place, beautiful people, good vibes. Like, man, I can't explain to you how happy I am every single time that I touch down on that island. You know what I'm saying? And you know better than anyone back when we went. You know how dope it was.
Can confirm everything
and
he
how,
just said.
you know how amazing the experience is to go
It's
and
beautiful.
just experience that Puerto Rican vibe, man. So it's super dope. It's an amazing blessing. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't be anything else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, shout out to all the other ethnicities in the world and all the other countries, but I'm so glad I'm Puerto Rican. Like, I'm thankful and I'm blessed and I'm super happy. And it's cool, man, because you get to experience not only being able to have the ability to speak 2 different languages and grow up in that household where more than one language is spoken. And I'm sure anybody else from any other country that speaks another language understands what I mean when I say that. Growing up in America, it's like having the ability to speak multiple languages is such an advantageous thing. It's such a like a powerful ability to have, especially in this world now where like of social media and technology and everything is about communication.
Facts.
Being able to speak 2 languages and to reach different demographics of people like that is incredible. And it's like you're able to literally touch on subjects that, you know, a lot of people can't normally reach to others that can't understand that language. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's a lot of people that don't understand how to speak English. I know there's a lot of people that don't understand how to speak Spanish. But that's the beauty about what I'm trying to do with my art, is that I'm trying to be able to bridge that gap and make that to where it's like my English listeners will be able to learn how to speak Spanish and my Spanish listeners will be able to learn how to speak English. And it's going to be a beautiful thing because I'm going to be able to write that in history and say that, you know, I was able to help the future generations and say that I helped them not necessarily teach them Spanish or teach them English, but I made it easier for them to understand. And I made it easier for them to get the idea of what it is to be bilingual and to speak multiple languages. So I think that's pretty awesome, man, just growing up. And then just especially just going to Puerto Rico a lot, growing up when I was little and just, you know, having my family speak to me in Spanish growing up when I was young and being able to have the food, man, because the food there, bro, Spanish food is some of the best food in the world, dude. And, you know, they say a lot, eat that rice and chicken, and that's all you really need. That's what we're the best at. You know what I'm saying? Arroz con pollo and plátanos. That's what all you need, literally. I could eat that for the rest of my days and I'd be cool with it.
Word. So, like, at what point did music become a thing? How did that enter your life? What were you going through at the time? What, like, brought that into your life? What made it a thing?
Well, music has always been like a part of me ever since I was like really, really young. Like I remember my mom playing like fucking Aerosmith and classic rock and classical music and Spanish and salsa and merengue and like all this other random arts of styles of music while she was pregnant with me. And I remember like, you know, being a little kid and sitting in the car and I'd hear like certain songs, and as soon as I'd hear the song come on without anybody singing, without anybody speaking or human voice or nothing, I'd hear the instruments of the song in like the first 4 seconds and I'd already know what song it was. And my mom noticed that ever since I was young, I was able to kind of like see exactly what I was listening to and to be able to like break down certain instruments in the songs. Like, for example, I would hear songs and I would hear like a drum set, or I would hear like a little violin part in the bridge, or I would hear horns in a certain section of the song, and I'll be like, "Oh, mommy, you hear the horns? Oh, mommy, do you hear the trumpets in that song? Oh, mommy, do you hear this part in the bass?" And like she'd be so amazed by that shit, bro. Just me being able to pick that up and just being able to like even understand what that is.
True.
That like really made her realize like I was made for this shit.
Like, gifted
like
musically.
dude, like it's
'Cause a lot of kids, bro, they listen to music, but it goes right over their head.
and it's
like,
just
they
like,
don't
you know, they
think
just
about it
listen to it. Yeah.
on that level.
Yeah. And I feel like I definitely grasped that idea very early on, and it's super cool, man, because like I was almost bred for this kind of lifestyle, to be able to make music and to produce music and to be an artist. So, you know, it's funny how like I said, how God's plan is, because literally everything just falls into place like perfectly.
How it's supposed to.
Absolutely. Like
when it's supposed to.
Literally.
Everything.
Like every setback, everything just falls into place. So it's super awesome, man. And ever since a young age, I knew that I wanted to do music. I knew that music spoke to me, and being able to create that sound, bro, just to be able to mix sounds together and make something out of that, I think is some of the most amazing thing like in this world. Like just to be able to do that and like to just create something out of nothing. Like we can like literally take the waves, sample the waves right now, and like make like a riser out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like just random stuff, like little noise drops, and like, bro, whatever we want to do with it. That's the most amazing thing about music, is like you can literally like do anything. There's no limit. And like I can make a hand clap with my hands right now, and like use that in a song.
Get creative with it, flip it, turn
bro,
it into something
and
else.
Literally,
and
like, and it's the most amazing thing. So I knew that from a very young age that music was what I want to do, and you know, here I am, and I pursued it.
So at what point did you first start like producing, creating music for yourself, writing lyrics? Like what was the first thing that you really got into?
The first thing that I really got into was writing poetry. And because I always loved poetry too, like anytime I was in English class, when I learned how to speak English and I learned how to write it, poetry interested me a lot, because it was like that expressive, like it was like poetry's almost like sexy kind of, you know what I mean? Like poetry's like it's like sexy, but it's intellectual at the same time, and those two things together is very powerful. So I feel like being able to express yourself on a lyrical level while also being like classy and like sexy at the same time is super dope. And I just began writing poetry when I was like maybe 7 or 8, and that essentially started, you know, me writing lyrics down. So I feel like from that, I definitely learned and grew from that, and learned how to write lyrics and become an artist based off of the fact that I was able to learn how to write lyrics and just express myself creatively through words. And
put them together and create like an image and translate exactly what you're thinking.
It's a story, essentially. Yeah, painting a picture, exactly. And that goes with artistry, you know, with any kind of way. It's like if you wanted to paint but with words. And
facts.
It's cool, bro, because the way that you're able to do that is so amazing. And a lot of times you'll have the certain intention to write something, and you'll write it with the intention of something completely different from somebody who's reading it. But at the same time, it's similar, and they can relate to it. And, you know, sometimes they might see it a different way than you wrote it, but something that they take away from your poem might be extremely life-changing.
Not like it's more meaningful than what it was like originally intended to be, but it's their interpretation of it. It means more to them.
Exactly.
It was their understanding or interpretation of the words that you put together.
And it could change their life.
True.
So it's cool. So that being able to have that power and that kind of influence, I wouldn't even say power, I'd say more or less influence on somebody to be able to want them to, you know, question things, and to want them to like want to just question life, bro, and just want to know more and like essentially find themselves. I think that's probably what made me want to start writing and
Word.
Really take that shit serious.
Word. All right. So you're a DJ, a producer, an artist, a bilingual artist at that. So the songwriting, the lyrics, the poetry all kind of came first. At what point did you start making beats, doing the production side of things?
At what point did I start making beats? I started making beats when I was 12 or 13. But I would always like be in class, like tapping on. I was always that kid, you know what I'm saying, with the pencil. Like, he was like
Doing that shit.
like I was that dude.
Mm.
And the teachers would hate me for it, but I didn't give a fuck, and like it was awesome.
Bro, low key in like 5th grade, I was obsessed with beatboxing, and I used to just like randomly, it was like almost a tick, bro. Like I'd just break out and start doing random shit, and I would literally tell my friend, I was like, bro, so if I start making weird noises and shit, just like give me a little tap on the leg so I like snap out of that shit, because I would just be in my own world. School was always kind of boring, so I would just like get into that
and
zone
like the public school system is trash, bro. Like
trash as fuck.
It was literally designed for us to not be creative.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So
Suck the creativity right out of you.
that creative in us knew that we had to break out of that, and our
And
only
just
way of
tune
like
all the way
combating
out.
that was like doing that kind of shit. You know what I'm
Literally.
saying? So that's the dope
Like
shit
physically,
about
we
it.
were stuck in that little, I call it a cell, classroom, whatever. But like
Like an imaginary
mentally,
world, yeah.
our brains were totally in another space,
We're in another dimension.
working
bro.
on some other shit.
That's the mind of the creative.
Facts.
But I started, definitely making beats at like 12, 13. I started on Mixcraft.
Damn, I've never even heard of that.
Bro, like it's so old.
The oldest DAW
That shit
ever.
is, bro. That shit is like it was like Mixcraft 5 or Mixcraft 6 or some shit
Damn.
on Windows.
Some beta ass.
Bro, it was like
DAW.
garbage. It was the worst shit ever. But I mean, it was something, and it definitely taught me like, no offense to Mixcraft, but it like I said, it definitely had its mark. It had its influence, and I'm thankful for it. So I started on that, and I remember just growing up, and my dad would be like, "Oh, if you're gonna be serious, you need to learn how to make shit on this." And I was like, "This shit is trash. Like, what the fuck is this?"
What does your dad know about music? Why is he telling me to do Mixcraft?
Well, my dad actually was a real big bass player in Puerto Rico.
A word.
He was a part of a band and shit, but he never took it like super serious. But
So he did
So the
live
music is
gigs
in
and played
me.
with a band and stuff?
yeah. So the music is like, it's in my
It's
veins.
been there. It was there.
Right. But yeah, like I started on that, and then once I got to high school, I ended up getting to go to this dope high school that was brand new, and they had like MacBooks all inside the classrooms. Like,
Yeah.
dude, like this is mind blowing for me, because growing up for me, like we didn't have shit, and like where I went to in 9th grade to Colonial, like there was nothing, bro. Like we didn't have none of that. You know what I'm saying? We had PE. That was the best part of the day, like literally.
Damn.
But when I got to it was the high school called Lake Nona. When I got to Lake Nona, dude, like my whole life changed. Like it was like so many opportunities and so many nice things that I never got to have in life were all presented to me in the classroom. And as a student, being able to have those kinds of access to those equipments and stuff like that, it was so dope, bro. And I remember seeing, cause right before, like, I think I moved at like in like 10th grade. Right before I had started the 10th grade year, did they ever let you change like your schedule in high school? Like you could like pick what classes you wanted the next year.
Yeah.
I had to do that, and then I had chose music production, because I seen that they had music production as one of the classes. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I need to get in that class ASAP.
Yeah.
So I had 2 electives. Music production was one of them, and then piano, introduction to piano or something like that.
The killer combo right there.
And
That's
to my
perfect.
music producers out there, my up-and-coming music producers, learn how to play the piano, man. That shit is so helpful. It is so helpful. And you don't need music theory, but if you can learn how to do music theory, learn how to do music theory, because I'm telling you, bro, that shit will help you grow so much faster and understand everything so much easier. But anyways, I got, those 2 electives. I got the music production class, and when I went into the music production class, bro, they literally had MacBooks, like the big desktop ones, like all in the classroom, bro. At least 30 units. You know what I'm saying? This is like $70,000, $100,000 worth of gear.
Damn.
And me walking in there, a fucking poor ass kid come from the hood, like, yo,
It's like, whoa.
I want to hit a lick on this bitch, but you know what? I won't though, because I want to learn.
Because they're letting me use it. So.
Let me use this shit, and it's cool that they're letting me use it. So, I definitely took advantage of that. And then once I started doing the music production class, I remember using this app called GarageBand.
That's what they had on the
Bro,
MacBooks.
they had GarageBand. They didn't have Logic yet. I think they might have had Logic, but Apple didn't buy it from whoever they bought it from yet. So they had GarageBand. And this was back in like 2010, 2011. So I remember going and using GarageBand and just like making beats on the little MIDI keyboard that they had in there. And just like, bro, literally the teacher would be teaching a lesson completely like something different. I'm the only one in class just
like,
boom, 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 making beats.
I
and like
figured this shit out. Like, let me go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't give a fuck about the lesson plan right now, teach.
Yeah.
Like, let me just learn.
Cooking up a hit right now. Leave me alone.
Yeah, basically. So that was the goal. And I would literally like get in trouble so many times. Like the teacher would come over and be like, "Mason, what are you doing? What are you not paying attention? What is this? What is this trash ass music you're making? Hip hop." And like it was funny. And I was just making beats all the time, bro. And just
hip hop.
It was cool because I was able to go home and like say that I had something to take home and like play it in my car and like play it at the house. And I think that was one of the dopest things about making music is that you can like literally like bounce your project, go in your car and play that song that you just made. Like, yeah, I just made this.
You walk away with something you can
yeah,
something to
it's
show
substance.
for what you just
you
did.
can show for it, and it's fucking dope, bro. Like that's one of the dopest things about music ever, and like I'm so thankful for it. Like, and yeah, bro, like just going into that class and learning how to use GarageBand, it made me understand the concept of MIDI. It made me understand the concept of like notes and like, you know, hitting the keyboard and, you know, shit like that. So and be able to really, composition is the hardest part about producing. To be able to like compose the sections of the song and to like organize it correctly. And that definitely helped a lot with my composition skills. So that's when I really started like making beats. Like after that I got FL Studio, and then it was all just uphill from there.
All right.
That's all she wrote.
So this is something like we personally know each other, so we've talked about this, we've seen the videos, but like there's one in particular that really stood out to me, bro, and that was you rapping at the high school. What was it, like an economic class, something? We gotta get that one time for the record.
That's funny that you bring that up. Yeah, it was.
Since we're talking about school and music and all that.
It was cool, bro. Cause like, once I started making beats, like everybody in high school knew me, like as that dude. Like I was that dude that made music. Like you know how in high school they have those categories like most likely to do whatever. Yeah. Like I was most likely to be famous making music. Like
word.
That was like definitely a thing, and I'm not even saying that to sound cool. Like I've literally been that dude for the longest. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool, bro. Cause like, I mean, I didn't ask for it. In a way, I did because like obviously I was putting in the work to get to that point. So, but. It's cool though, cause like people know what time it is. You know, they know you're creative. They know you're dope. They know you're able to do different shit as far as a basic person and an average person. No offense to the basic people out there, but you know, it's dope. And I remember just like to touch on the subject you were talking about, the high school thing. So in 12th grade. By the time I got to 12th grade, everybody knew me as like that music dude. And my teacher, my economics teacher, he was like the dopest economics teacher ever. He was like economics and like government put together. Okay. And he was the dopest. I'll never forget him, Mr. K. Mr. K.
Shout out Mr. K.
Bro, he was the truth, bro. Like, anybody that went to Lake Nona can tell you that Mr. K was the dopest high school teacher you will ever have. I don't care where you went to high school. Like, he was the dopest, bro. Like, he was the shit. And I remember he used to let me, like, record in the back of his classroom, in his closet. Damn. And he would just, bro, like, he, like, saw the dedication so hard in my eyes, like, and he knew how bad I wanted it. And so he supported it, bro, and he was all for it, and he's like, you know what?
Willing to help in any way possible.
Literally, like, literally, dog. And that's, I respect that so much. And shout out to Mr. K, man, because he's the truth. And, you know, he was the type of teacher that I would have a local show somewhere at, like, a bar or some shit. And he would come, bro. Like, he literally would be there. and he was good with the camera and everything. So he would come through and film for me, bro.
Damn.
Like, that's the kind of love that he
So your
had.
teacher was
Like,
the OG photographer.
Dude,
That's
the OG of OGs,
That's
bro.
cool. That's cool.
Dopest high school teacher ever, hands down.
Yeah.
So he had this idea where we would do like an economy class project, right? And he basically wanted to base it around like, how can we make kids woke about what's happening with the government, but at the same time keep it funky and keep it like to the point where it's like new school and like the kids are gonna like it and they're gonna bob with it, and it's like, oh, he's saying something, but at the same time, this is like some.
It's not going completely over their head, but there's some little secret
boring,
bars
you know
in there where it's like, okay,
it's
think about
connect.
what I just said for a second, because
Exactly.
there's some truth in there.
It's gonna connect, and he had the idea of like doing like a show in class.
Yeah.
And I was all for it, bro. And I had literally produced the beat for my certain part of the play or whatever you want to call it. And it was kind of like a play in a way, but obviously not a play because it was some completely different shit that no one's ever done.
Yeah.
And it was like we called it an economy class project.
A
bro.
live musical skit.
Literally a
production.
live musical, trap musical, like.
the economics trap musical.
The economics trap musical.
Word.
Like, it was the dopest shit ever.
Word.
And, you know, I remember, you know, just doing that, and I had touched on subjects about basically like, you know, the Federal Reserve and the government, and just it got real deep. It got real deep. I don't want to go too into on it, but if you guys want to,
we'll put a clip on the screen right now for all the viewers at home. We'll have that run right now. We'll take the hardest bars out of there and put that up for y'all to see, so you know what you're talking about.
Talk about waking up in a new Bugatti. I got 12 of them. And a Maserati. We calling me with the step in my fingers. I just cracked the chicken nugget, bring the show. Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. It's all mine. Forget honesty, monetary's my policy. It's pathetic how you think you live inside a democracy. Shouts out to President Obama, my favorite puppet. He can tell you pure lies. All you dumb is beloved. Clap, clap, little chicken nugget brains.
But yeah, it was super cool, man. And you know, from that moment, I felt like a lot of people knew like I was meant to do music. If me doing everything that I wasn't doing up to that point didn't make it serious or official enough, that definitely like sealed the deal. So that definitely was it was a dope experience.
What solidified?
Everybody in my class was like turning up. We were all having a good time. Everybody was dancing. Like we had girls like just literally like dancing with us. Like we throwing fake money around, Monopoly money and shit. It was cool. It was like a strip club
as a high school performance
awesome.
can be.
High school strip club class.
Damn. I missed that one. They didn't have that at my high school, bro.
Dude, it was
I wish.
That just goes to show you that there's something in the water in Florida.
Florida's a different breed. Florida's all the way different.
The sun or something. I don't know.
Word. So, bro, what do you want to talk about? You as a person? We kind of covered the music stuff. I mean, we could get into Bori Boi, but I don't know if you want to save that or what you thinking.
Well, I want to crack another brew.
Yeah?
That's possible.
About that time?
It's about that time.
All right. Intermission, beer break.
Beer break.
About killed mine already, so.
Rest in peace to the homies. Rest in peace, Tony. Rest in peace, Angel. Rest in peace, Gotti. Rest in peace, Big Mac.
All right.